Okay, well, it's my pleasure to be here in Panama. I'm so excited to be here, my fourth visit here, and there's so many things that we have in common, but Panama is a leader in the region for many things. And my lane, of course, is with the public security forces, with Senafront, with Sanan, building partner capacity, security cooperation, and what are the, working with Minister Pino, the Minister of Public Security, and what his priorities are in support of President Cortizo. And certainly, as we work to accomplish those things, we have the Supredenac third regional exercise that's happening here. Over 600 people, 17 nations went to the exercise site there yesterday, and they are just doing a fantastic job. So as we entered into hurricane season 2 weeks ago on the 1st of June, we all worry about hurricane season, all of us, everybody's countries, the people, being prepared to handle that response to a disaster if it strikes is very, very important. And being able to work seamlessly, being able to communicate, being able to get equipment and water and supplies where they need to go to minimize the suffering that people will encounter as a result of those disasters. But certainly we see with climate change that the storms are getting more severe, they're getting more frequent. The drought that's affecting the region as well. So as we work with Panama, and I travel the region because I work with all the countries in the region, Central America, South America, the Caribbean. We just had our Caribbean nations security conference last week in Jamaica, and talking about climate resilience, environmental security, and it is at the top of everybody's list as being a challenge and wanting to be able to take care of the people and minimize the impacts of that. But certainly as Panama is a global leader, not just here in the region, but also globally because of the Panama Canal and the great work that the Panama Canal brings to the global economy, and certainly we want to keep it that way. So it's my pleasure to be here on my fourth visit to Panama.
Well, welcome to Panama, even if it's your last day, but better late than never.
That's right.
Which countries participated in these exercises?
So we've had the Central American countries that participate in the exercise, as well as we've had Canada and some other countries that have participated, the UK, Japan, South Korea, but we certainly have the core countries that are part of Supredenac and SICA, and very, very important exercise, really honored to do that. We also have the Joint Task Force Bravo that has some Chinook helicopters here that works under Southcom, as well as some Black Hawk helicopters that are moving equipment around. And we actually work with the public security forces in Panama to move equipment and construction materials, schools, out to the indigenous populations in the region. Certainly with the migration issues in the Darien is very important as well.
Is this what it's called, Exercise Mercury?
That's right, Operation Mercury.
And that was my next question.
Yeah.
So you're ahead of me.
I am, I'm a little bit ahead.
So my question was, the U.S. has conducted humanitarian exercises in the Darien named Exercise Mercury, where it worked with local agencies to deliver food and other supplies to that area. Do you feel that such exercises are helpful in curbing illegal activities in that region, in addition to benefiting the local population?
I do. I think the development is really important in helping the populations deal with their challenges. When you work to help with schools, construction materials, things that are hard to get to the regions because there might not be roads that get all the way there, the helicopters are very, very useful for that. But it further builds up the development, which in turn we are able to work with, the Panamanians are able to work with the indigenous population, and then better help migrants as they're making a journey through a very dangerous area.
Well, thank you for everything that you do for Panamanians in that region, because we understand that part of the reason why such illegal activities take place there is because they get what they need from actors from the illegal sector rather
Right.
than from the good guys, the
Right.
authorities. Changing topics a little bit.
Yes.
What are there concerns with Panama's relationship with China, and specifically Chinese interest having control over port facilities in Panama and Chinese companies involved in major infrastructure projects?
So as I look to the region, not just Panama, I see a lot of what looks to be investment by the Chinese in critical infrastructure in the Western Hemisphere. And China's a communist country. They don't respect the human rights of their own people. And so the malign activity that I see, cost overruns on projects, debt traps, loans that countries get involved with China. If China is here to invest, then I don't have a problem with that. But when they take countries and they get them spun in these debt traps of loans and things like that, and then the cost overruns on the projects aren't done to standard, they create more problems than they were to fix. In some cases around the region in the Western Hemisphere, we're able to use the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to come in and help fix those projects that have damaged the countries in certain ways. And so, again, if they're here to invest, I don't have a problem with that. But I've seen a lot of malign activity and hurting populations in terms of the loans and things like that.
What changes do you think the U.S. military can make in its relationship with Panama to reduce China's influence?
So I think the just having different alternatives and investment in the region and alternatives to the Chinese. Certainly with the, what you don't like to see as well is the underbidding that occurs too. They are able to maybe on one project get a lot of big equipment in the region and then underbid the other projects that follow because there's already cranes and big type of equipment that's in the region. Certainly, we want to be able to have alternatives. We don't choose. We don't tell any country what to choose. We don't try to say choose the U.S. or choose the Chinese. It's just having a plethora of options available.
The last Panamax operation held in 2022 featured exercises in the U.S. rather than in Panama. Would it be safe to say that the exercise has grown beyond the original goal of focusing on threats to the Panama Canal? And do you foresee scenarios where it would again be held here?
I think as we work together, regardless of where the locations are that exercises take place, certainly we don't want to wear out one place with a lot of military coming, not just the United States, but as part of what I call team democracy. And it's like-minded democracies working together. We have 28 like-minded democracies in the region. And so if you want to be on team democracy, then we have many nations that come together. The interoperability is really, really important. How we work together, different countries. If you're bringing over 20 nations together to work on a scenario, whether it's disaster response or adversaries that are taking advantage of something, you want to be able to work that seamlessly. You want to get past the being able to translate and things like that, and just exercise together. And so it's really, really important, regardless of where we do the different exercises and things like that. It's coming together and working through those issues. And certainly Panama has been, as we have JTF Bravo here with the helicopters and moving equipment several times throughout the year. The Spredenac exercise, where we have over 600 people, 17 nations. Panama's a leader, a regional leader in the Western Hemisphere, and I'm just really proud to work with Panama.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Do you want to talk about the trilateral meeting that Panama, Colombia, and the U.S. held yesterday, I believe?
So we did. We had the trilateral meeting that took place yesterday with Panama and Colombia and the United States, and so Minister Pino from Panama, Minister Velasquez from Colombia, and myself. as well as Senefront Director General, Sanan Director General, and the Police Director. And we had a great meeting. It was just an update. This is the third meeting that Minister Pino, Minister Velasquez have come together on. But it's going after the criminal organizations. It's to protect the people, and that's really what these operations are about. To help reduce the migration by going after the criminals that are doing harm to the people that are trying to find a better life. And so we had a great meeting. The operations have been very successful, and we'll continue to work that and for the success and the protection of people.
In terms of the security in the region, in the Darien region, you know, it's not, as you know, it's not only used for human trafficking, but also for drug trafficking and weapons trafficking.
Right.
And not to mention the fact that also includes illegal mining. So if you had to prioritize these activities that take place in the region, what would you think it would be something that for the U.S. in general would be a main, the main action against?
The transnational criminal organizations in the region, they've become more powerful. They've diversified their portfolio. You mentioned some of the things that they do. It's not just drugs, human smuggling, also the illegal mining, the illegal logging, the deforestation, the illegal fishing. It's all of it. And it needs to be dealt with, and as I'm in a global way. And as I talked about before on team democracy, we are better and stronger together. Minister Pino has an amazing quote. Individually we are strong, but together we are invincible. And there is so much truth to that. You bring like-minded countries together to work together and to counter the malign activity and the criminal activity, that can't be stopped. And they are having such great progress, and it just needs to continue working together and getting after this malign activity.
On your previous visit to Brazil and Colombia, one of the topics you focused on was gender equality in security forces. Is that also a focus of your interactions with Panamanians? How would you classify Panama's efforts at building a more inclusive security force?
So thank you for the question. So yes, but every visit I do a Women, Peace, and Security event with the Defense Forces or the Public Security Forces, and certainly we did that in Panama 2 days ago, and we had a great Women, Peace, and Security event. What we also find is we have great senior enlisted leaders that are also women in the forces, and so you actually get a twofer with that too. And so, but it's very important in terms of the recruiting, the retaining, the training, and the advancement for women in the public security forces as well as the defense forces. And women have the ability to communicate and work with different groups in a different way. The diversity they bring to security forces makes them more ready. And so it's really, Panama is a leader. As I sat around these amazing women, but not just the amazing women that were there were just as many men. And to see Panama with in the Ministry of Public Security Forces and all of the vice ministers, that are there. Panama is a leader in the region. I'm really proud to work with Panama.
We have to still see a woman head of a Senan or Senafront or the police.
I know. Well, maybe soon. Southcom, first woman commander. So
that's great.
I'm the first, but I won't be the last.
Hopefully. Thank you.
Thank you, Rita.